It's a beautiful evening for the beautiful game. St. Louis, the site tonight. The St. Louligans are back, and they are ready to root on their side. St. Louis FC looking for their first win of the season after 2 trips to the state of Texas result in a defeat and a draw 2 weeks ago. The opponent tonight from Colorado Springs, Switchbacks FC in town. The weather has cleared. We should have a great evening on this artificial pitch for this USL match early in the season in the Western Conference. This evening's St. Louis FC match is brought to you by the Cheshire St. Louis and LHM. For bookings and more information, visit CheshireSTL.com. Along with Matt Stubbington, I'm Dave Lamont. We welcome you to Toyota Stadium, and finally Toyota Stadium, Matt, for this side. After 2 on the road, the next 3 will be in front of the friendly home fans.
It's great for the team to be back in front of their home fans. I know that St. Louligans are really excited for tonight's action, and I know that Anthony Poulos and the St. Louis team will be hoping that they can put their best foot forward and get back on the winning ways.
Well, we take a look at our players to watch, beginning, of course, with Colorado Springs. And from San Antonio a year ago, A.J. Ajekwa is off to a fast start this year.
He's a fantastic player. He's quick, intelligent, gets in the box really well, and his movement in the box is very good as well. Gets in great goal scoring positions and makes the most of those opportunities.
We take a look at our Toyota player to watch for St. Louis. The superstar with Pittsburgh for a couple of seasons. Now in St. Louis, Corey Hertzog.
He's going to be a real key player for St. Louis moving forwards. Plays really well in partnership with his teammates up top. Is great with his back to goal. He's also pretty good going into space.
Does not have any points just yet, but St. Louis has had opportunities. Just have not been able to convert, but they're home. The conditions are right, perhaps, for St. Louis to get the 3 points they need, but the Switchbacks will not be an easy out. We'll get your 11s for you and our match when we return.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to the electricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
Spring is coming. Enjoy the season with a great deal on a new Toyota. Like low APR financing on the technology-loaded Corolla, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Tundra, and more.
I'm rebuilding the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Lease a new 2018 RAV4 for $229 per month with $1,000 lease bonus cash. Or get 0% APR financing plus $500 bonus cash.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees.
There's really only one place where the carpets are always red and the stars are everywhere you look. There's no place like Hollywood. Hollywood Casino St. Louis.
So we take a look there as the teams are very, very close to the start of our match. St. Louis looking for win #1. Colorado looking for their second victory on the Springs Switchbacks. And the officiating staff meeting everybody, getting to the last friendly words between the officials as we take a look at our 11s, beginning with Colorado Springs. And of course, we talked a bit about Ajekwa. Who else stands out here?
On the back line, Jamal Jack is an absolute leader in the back four, tremendous player and a central defender to watch for any young player. He plays the game really well.
And for St. Louis FC, of course, Hertzog is the man in the middle, but Kyle Gregg scored last week in that defeat at San Antonio.
Well, the two up top play really well in partnership together and work together and for each other and hold the play up so that the midfielders can get in underneath as well. Lewis Hilton is a very important player, Wall as well. Talented individuals, characters in the center area of the park, which is what St. Louis FC need if they're going to be successful.
So we get ready to drop the ball and begin this match. And you can hear already the St. Louligans are at their rowdy best. Javier Santos is our referee, assisted by Matthew Rodman, Jervis Atagana, and the fourth official, the man with the post and the numbers, oddly enough, is Jacob Post. And that's a position that you don't really want to have because everybody's yelling at you. Even Anthony Poulos in his first season with St. Louis, you just saw a brief shot of him. He came over from the Orlando area where he had a long career, either as a player or as a coach. And of course, Colorado Springs led once again by Steve Trittschuh. He is the first and so far only head coach in Switchbacks history going back to 2014.
Two very experienced coaches on the show tonight. Even though Anthony Poulos is with a new team.
Take a look at Jake Fendelson in between the pipes again for St. Louis. When talking with Anthony, he believes his team has created chances. He's very happy with that. He said, we just have not finished them. And has blamed just some miscommunications and breakdowns on the goals allowed so far this season. The 3 goals, 2 last week against San Antonio and 2 weeks before against RGV. St. Louis will be in the green and blue. And the people were on the wrong sides. So the goalkeeper's having to trudge. Stuart Sayus in the red there. Haitian national. And Fendelson with a 70% save percentage and 3 goals against. I think we're finally going to get this thing going as soon as the goalkeepers finish their leisurely jogs.
It's unusual to see a switch of fields on the coin toss, and it's like Colorado Springs Switchbacks will have the kickoff to start the first half.
And now we get things going. One of the things that Steve Trittschuh talked about during the week was he wants to be pushing very much. He's got Saeed Robinson back from a 1-game suspension, number 11 in the white, and he believes that the key here is to push and then push some more. So we'll take a look at that is indeed going to work. Meantime, on the attack is Austin Martz, and his cross is knocked away, and we're going to get very early on, not even a minute of playing time, a corner kick here for St. Louis FC.
Beautiful work there. That was started by Hertzog with a lovely touch, flicking the ball to himself and then springing his teammate Martz on the right flank, and then was Craig coming in at the near post, couldn't turn it on frame. Good defensive work by Colorado Springs.
For every goal scored by St. Louis FC off of a corner kick, Electro Savings will be donating $100 to a St. Louis charity. It won't quite happen there as they short kick it, but we'll be hopeful. And you can see just by the flags of the supporters that there is a wind at the back going from right to left. The back of that man right there, Stuart Sayus, drafted 2009 in the Super Draft and most recently played in the NASL San Francisco.
Newcomer to Colorado Springs Switchbacks has won the starting job off of Marius Poitier, who started in net for the majority of last season.
One of the other things also in talking with Anthony Poulos is how different this St. Louis team is. And Matt, we were talking about this before we took the air. You go through just the 11 here, and none of them that I can find played in these colors a season ago.
Which is remarkable, and to be able to get team chemistry together so quickly is a testament to the players and to the coaching staff. But also look at the coaching staff, that's brand new as well.
Exactly.
From a year ago. So perhaps that's to their advantage that everybody is new coming into this new season.
In the air. Bercoloni was fighting for it. Now, will Hertzog get there first? He will not Hertzog rather, but Gregg. And it is swept away. So just in following that, you see Kyle Gregg, Vancouver and Cincinnati a season ago. Hertzog with Pittsburgh, March with Orlando B. That's your attackers. Lewis Hilton, Charlotte, Walt Fall, Rochester in 2016. Kadeem Dakers was with FC Cincinnati. John Barton about to get the ball, the Englishman, Ottawa in 2017. Sam Fink, OKC Energy, Sean Reynolds, Louisville FC, and Kyle Culbertson, Puerto Rico FC in the NASL, and Fennelson in 2016 was in Orlando. That's everybody in the starting 11. Trying to get through here, and for Hertzog was the intended receiver there, and is he going to talk himself into a kick? No, he's not. It's going to be a goal kick coming up.
Onto there, getting goal side of Hertzog. Well done by the central back for the Switchbacks.
You see our weather 57 degrees, and some rain had already gone through the area and is pretty much out of there. We hope it stays away. Schweitzer flicked it, but St. Louis trying to get control. And in control instead, the net is left open, and it's a goal for Kyle Gregg. The keeper way off the line, and Gregg made him pay.
Seemed an age for that ball to come down and go into the back of the net. Sayus, the goalkeeper, came out to claim it, hesitated, and he realized he wasn't going to get there. And if you're a goalkeeper, beware the bouncing ball. You'll be chipped every time, and beautifully done with the right leg by Mr. Gregg.
This is the second week in a row he has scored early in the match. His goal last week in the first 3 minutes, this one in the first 5.
See, Sayus just couldn't read that ball played forwards by Hilton. Beautifully done over the top by the central midfielder for St. Louis. And Gregg did a great job getting on the end of it and putting it in the back of the net.
And that goal delivered by Domino's and by Kyle Gregg, his second goal of the season. And again, he is the early man. That's an unusual stat to get 2 goals in consecutive games very early on.
Jack just telling everybody to calm down on the back line.
Former teammate of Corey Hertzog's in Pittsburgh, Jamal Jack. Now there's a few who have joined Colorado Springs from other clubs, but they also have veterans like Vercoloni, number 4, Josh Suggs, who's the captain, number 5, number 23, Shane Malcolm in his second year, Tae-Song Kim, number 35, the South Korean in his third year. So they at least have an advantage over a lot of teams in this league, having a good amount of your starters having played together.
The assistant, number 8, Lewis Hilton.
And Lewis Hilton will get an assist on that goal.
In the 5th minute of play, Gregg
There's 2 central players, Wolfall and Lewis Hilton. Wolfall just collected the ball off his chest, delivered the ball to Hilton, who saw the on-rushing Gregg and played it into space, and was able to put enough spin on the ball there, Dave, just to check it up, wrong foot the goalkeeper, and allow Gregg all the time he needed to run underneath the ball and just pop it over the keeper's head.
So for the second time in 2 weeks, St. Louis playing from in front early. Now San Antonio ended up getting the 3 points last week, getting a couple of goals, but again, in talking with Anthony Pulis, he felt there were 2 PK opportunities that could have been called, in his opinion should have been called in the second half. One, a handball that I must say did seem obvious, but was not called. And then there was a takedown in the box that is always so subjective, and the referee ruled no advantage. They played on, and that will trickle out of bounds and belong to Colorado Springs. So that's a what might have been kind of day. You take a look at Kyle Gregg getting that second goal of the season with the assist to Lewis Hilton.
One thing from last week, I thought that the midfielders got a little bit conservative, probably under the pressure of the opposition as well, though, and didn't separate themselves enough from the back line, and it was a lot harder for St. Louis to spring forwards as a unit when they did have possession of the ball. So I looked today for the midfielders to stay a little bit further up the field so that they can move together and spring the attack in numbers.
Try to play through there for Hertzog, just a little bit too far. We really have not seen much of an attack yet from the Switchbacks.
It's so difficult, Dave, is you're trying to keep connected as a team and be condensed defensively, but going forwards offensively, you've got to spread out and but still maintain that connection so that you can pass the ball to each other.
Well, how much of that, Matt, is it just a product of not having played that much together?
A lot of it probably is, and any coach will tell you that the offensive side of the ball is the most difficult thing to get right in the early part of the season and preseason. Most coaches will look more on the defensive side of the ball first because obviously you don't want to concede goals.
Well, I don't know. We always hear defense wins championships in so many different sports. And I don't know if necessarily true for soccer, but yeah, if you're porous on one end, you're going to spend all your time on that. Opportunity now perhaps here, trying to get it to Robinson, and an excellent effort that time by Barton to come back to the ball. However, he also takes out Robinson, and he might get a card here. Yes, we're going to have a yellow card at just about the 9-minute mark against the captain, the Englishman John Barton, who had a fine collegiate career at James Madison University in Virginia. Let's take a look.
I don't think Mr. Barton can have any complaint about this. He comes in from behind and feet up a little bit. Certainly a yellow card foul for me.
Into the box, Fenelson comes out, way off the line, very aggressive that time, and he'll be booting this into the wind if he chooses to kick.
And nicely read by the goalkeeper, winning the ball at its height as it comes into the box. Made sure that he collected the ball.
He got beat in a couple of headers last week, where players were allowed to be very, very close to the goal mouth, and San Antonio able to take advantage. Fall with a trap, trying again through to Hertzog, but Sayus will be there.
Frustration there from Greg. Thought he was going to have a bead on that ball, but again, goalkeeper Sayus this time reading it well, getting up to the top of the box.
A nice switch there by Josh Suggs, and now from the right side, Colorado will attack. Overdone on the pass. See, Suggs was breaking down the left side, but instead, Shane Malcolm went the other way with it. And Colorado now retreating and then giving it away.
Schweitzer indicating that he wanted the ball played out to the right flank. Didn't happen as quickly as he wanted it to. Consequently, St. Louis were able to get into shape defensively.
Now Barton on the run. And a whistle way off where the ball is.
So I was following the ball, so I didn't see what the situation was, why the referee blew his whistle.
Did not appear to be an offside, and in fact, we've had another booking is what we've got. And I wonder if Taesong Kim was hit with a caution there.
There's somebody going in the book. I think it was Taesong Kim.
Yes,
he
it
must
is.
have infringed on one of the St. Louis players running away from the ball, trying to get in a position to get on the end of what would have been a cross from Martz or Barden. Nonetheless, this ends up being a great goal-scoring opportunity off of the set piece.
So the wall will be set. Kim was indeed hit with the caution. So we have 2 cautions already, and this is a shaving cream foul. As you can see, the referee tries to line him up behind the shaving cream. Of course, that is immediately erased. Let's see who's going to wind up taking this here for St. Louis. Jaqua trying to slow things down a little bit and give his guys a chance. Now he backs out of there. Might be on goal and just wide. Oh, they had a nice little play run there, running up one man past the ball and then the second one here.
And Wolfall just over the ball. Hertzog hits it with power, but not quite enough accuracy with the right foot. So he just wasn't sure where it was going. Thankfully, it went past his right hand upright.
Fendelson would just sweep it down the field. Right now, this match has been pretty much dominated by St. Louis FC. There's a clear out, and we're playing on. Physical play by Jamal Jack.
He is a man mountain, it's Jamal Jack.
From Trinidad and Tobago, and now we'll play through one more time to the keeper.
That was a case of we may have been teammates last year, Corey, but not this year.
I owed you one from sometime in Pittsburgh. Another threat here. And Sayers having to come out of the box as Greg is just on a mission, it seems like, to get a brace early on here in this match. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. Ajekwa. And you saw that time Martz coming in from the backside to kick it away from him. Still in play, though. Suggs saved it from going out of bounds. Now here's Kim. This is something that Colorado Springs has not possessed the ball that much, and certainly not in St. Louis territory. And again, they retreat. And Reynolds will just body block Jordan Schweitzer. Keep him from having a chance at that.
St. Louis doing a good job of getting behind the ball as a team. What they need to be careful is make sure they keep the spacing so they can transition from defense to offense. Throwing those long searching balls forward as well, trying to find Greg and Martz on that occasion. Hertzog's up there as well.
Well, Greg has had not only just the goal, but he's had a couple of other chances on those long balls. Now Barden will throw in here.
The cars listed are blocking 4 loading bays and need to be moved.
Good skill, good passing here. Now Hertzog's got a little room here. He'll strike left-footed and say you saw it all the way. Excellent passing by St. Louis.
Off the throw, and it wasn't the best possession, but Barden did really well to get it to Hertzog, and then a nice collection of the return pass from Martz by Hertzog, and showing that he's equally adept with the left foot as he is with the right, making the goalkeeper work. Not a lot of spice on the shot, but Sayers had to make sure of his technique at the near post.
1-0 St. Louis. Ajeka was taken down, and it will be an opportunity here for Colorado Springs. Taken by the captain, Josh Suggs. He'll lay it off. Now Ajekwa turns, trying to create some space. The defense is solid, though, and will be swept out of there by the captain, Barden.
Thought that was an opportunity you missed when the Switchbacks went short with the free kick. Ajekwa did well with it. Unable to connect on the pass in the box, though. Perhaps he would have been better served to have a crack on net.
Have not seen them go down the left side very often. That's what Zaid Robinson probably agrees with us. They're number 11. We've seen a lot of this where they get to midfield and give the ball back, and then they turn it over. Now Fall. fell, but advantage ruled by the referee, and he actually made a great play to get back up and keep the ball in St. Louis possession. And I know that Anthony Poulos is not excited about possession statistics, but he probably knows his team has possessed the ball about 61% of the time so far.
He's got to be feeling pretty good about where they possess the ball, which is in their attacking half for the majority of that 61%.
It's a fine play there by Suggs to steal the ball on another thread. And a Jaquia called for a little contact there. No biggie.
Good sportsmanship between him and Mr. Hilton.
Here's a good look at Anthony Poulos.
A great example there from Lewis Hilton, though, how important it is as a midfielder to track back defensively. Jaquia had collected the ball. Didn't collect it as cleanly as perhaps he would have liked, but because Lewis Hilton's coming back defensively, he was able to get possession of the ball, win the free kick.
So Colorado will try to get something organized here, and that has not been. Now, how much of that, Matt, is a product of what St. Louis is doing?
Well, a lot of it is because of St. Louis are doing a good job of getting behind the ball and putting pressure on in the middle part of the pitch, but also Colorado Springs aren't really doing themselves any favors, and Burt, for example, had possession of the ball, could have played it out to the left fullback position, but held on to the ball for 2 or 3 more touches longer than he should have done, and then that moment was passed by. He turns back, goes back down the right-hand flank, and ends up losing possession because there's nowhere to pass the ball there. So they say that the ball moves quicker than the person in the game of soccer, so 1 or 2 touch passes will serve you best. Bethlehem Steel FC, James Chambers, who's their captain, he's 1 and 2 touch passes almost all the time, and the simplicity of his play is a great example for young players who want to play in the center area of the pitch.
Hertzog was knocked over. The foul did not go in his favor, and you saw the entire St. Louis bench get up wondering what happened to the referee's judgment on that call, but he's not moved by their protests, and we play on. Here, exclusive stories directly from the USL players and USLsoccer.coms from the pitch, with written and video content that provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. Matt Stubbington, Dave Lamont with you here. 1-0, St. Louis getting a goal from Kyle Gregg, his 2nd goal of the season. Just about the 5-minute mark. We've had cautions on each side. Barden for St. Louis FC, and for Colorado Springs, Kim. Once again, this is how St. Louis has played. Long balls to either Gregg or Hertzog, and that time Sayas fouled it off his foot, and the pressure stays. Spectacular kick by Suggs, but did not clear it. Opportunity on the give and go, and it's going to be swept away. St. Louis keeps the heat on. And that one goes through, and will be another goal kick here for Sayus. So this call went against Hertzog.
And the only thing that the referee thought that as he went down, the referee, Mr. Escobar, didn't think there was a foul on the challenge, and as Hertzog went down, it looked like he may have handled the ball, probably from the referee's perspective. So that's the only reason I could think that the whistle was blown against St. Louis.
Robinson trying to go wide against Barden, able to tightrope that line. Here's a chance here for a Jaquia, and the defense breaks it up. First serious threat, and that time the defense tested by St. Louis comes away unscathed for the moment. Colorado Springs, though, maintains possession.
Jaquia was just inches away there. Talked about the importance of a midfielder tracking back. There was Hilton again defensively to clear the lines for St. Louis FC. Could have been the tying goal so easily there.
By far and away the most dangerous 90 seconds or so the Switchbacks have been able to put against the St. Louis side.
Robinson did so beautifully, tiptoeing down the sideline, keeping the ball in bounds. And a dangerous ball into the near post area that Jaquia had almost got on the end of.
So St. Louis for the first time really back on their heels a little bit. And now Ajekwa working against both Reynolds and Fall. Fall finally wins that one, and St. Louis may have settled things down. Long ball by Barden. That's been a strategy all day for St. Louis. Here's Gregg with it, dropping it off again to Barden. He'll look for Hertzog here. Right to him. And he got a touch, but the flag was up for offsides.
So difficult just to hold your run up when you're trying to be on the last defender, as Hertzog was. Jamal Jack was coming back into the picture, trying to get goal side. Certainly the Switchbacks were not trying to play an offside trap on that occasion.
But if you just sat down to watch this match, you've pretty much seen how it's been played right there. Long balls for St. Louis and an attack to either Hertzog or Gregg.
Well, those long balls that are being played over the top, if Gregg or Hertzog can get on the end of it, great for St. Louis FC. If not, they're putting the back line of the Switchbacks under pressure, and then St. Louis are trying to win the second ball or the third ball to get possession in their attacking third, and so far it's worked pretty well.
Gregg with it now. Hilton. And St. Louis will work their way backwards. If you go to Takes to Beat the Experts on USLsoccer.com, show off your knowledge of the league by picking the right results of the USL's matchup each week of the season. That's a challenge. Sam Fink played with OKC last year, Western Conference finalists. '24th minute of this match in the Western Conference between these two foes who did not play against each other last season. St. Louis was in the East. It's the fourth matchup between the two in history. And St. Louis, they've split all the way across. One win for each and a draw. No, I take that back. I can't read. To be very honest with you, we have a couple of wins for Colorado and one for St. Louis, and that was at Toyota Stadium, where we are today. Mid-50s for the temperature, 30% chance of rain, so a few folks bundled up. Spring a little late getting started in the Midwest and Northeast. Take a good look at Jamal Jack, and his former teammate flashed into the picture there, Corey Hertzog. They played Pittsburgh last year. Hertzog in 2 seasons with Pittsburgh had 27 goals. Bercoloni, an original member of Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Chance here now, Schweitzer. Turns it over, but Colorado Springs maintains possession now. Here's Suggs. He's got some room. Centering, and a header is flicked off the line, out of bounds, and it will belong on a goal kick. Good Schweitzer with the effort that time, but he did not pay off.
Moving back away from the goal as the ball came in. Wasn't able to put a lot of purchase on the header. Thought maybe Suggs would have been better served to just get deeper into the attacking third for the cross. Chose not to.
Take a look at possession numbers so far as we go into the 27th minute. Robinson fires, shot rejected. That time by Fink, and it'll roll out. It'll belong to the Switchbacks on the throw-in. Moving it quickly to Suggs. Again, into traffic. Header opportunity number 1, missed. Number 2, no good. Shot fired, deflected, and Fink got a piece of it right before it got to the goalkeeper, and this will be corner kick. Number 1 for Colorado Springs.
Coach Poulos thought there may have been a foul in there somewhere. A little bit of
right
miscommunication by Colorado Springs Switchbacks. They had players lining up. Schweitzer should have called off Ajekwa and would have had a clean header on goal.
They'll go with a left-footed in-swinger here, most likely. You can see by the crowd around Fennelson. They get a far post, and it's headed out of play.
But they're just not timing his jump, not able to turn it back on frame. Or get it back across the penalty area to give a teammate the opportunity on net.
And Jordan Bird, who had the chance there, has already scored a goal. He's a second-year member of the Switchbacks. So he made the run down and tried to get a piece of it. He did, but it just wasn't lined up right. That's an unfortunate break for Josh Suggs. He had a shot to the face off the very sharp bounce.
Those are the ones that play. You just didn't hurt.
Yeah.
While your eyes are watering and you just want to go to the turf and to say, take a minute to yourself.
You want to feel sorry for yourself, but you don't want people to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to work the threat with Culbertson, and that didn't quite pay off along with Dakers. But Culbertson will get the throw in here.
Malcolm thought that it was his throw in.
Now it's turned over by St. Louis. Over to Robinson. Aggressively marked by Barton, who was thinking, I'm guessing, was thinking about trying to intercept that pass, and he'll slide it beautifully. Excellent form there and clean tackle.
Much better on that one than he did earlier against the same player that earned him a yellow card.
That back in the 9th minute. Our goal in the 5th minute by Kyle Gregg has held up so far. St. Louis trying to avoid what happened to them last week when they took an early lead in the 3-minute mark on a goal by Gregg, but could not sustain it against that fine San Antonio side. That game was in Texas. This is the home opener for St. Louis. First of 3 consecutive. Fresno next week and Los Dos the following.
Interesting game with Fresno. Coach Adam Smith's got a really good squad, high morale. Managed to get their first franchise win in midweek.
We've already had wins today for New York, Nashville, and the defending champions, Louisville, went on the road to St. Pete. And Nashville got the victory over Bethlehem with their first goal of the season. So they had gotten off to a pretty rough start, but not that they need another excuse to party down Broadway in Nashville, but they will.
Any excuse that they can have.
No, they really don't need them, but they still they find a couple. Switchbacks trying to press. They have not had the advantage, not the attack that they have looked for yet. Steve Trittschuh wanted an attacking mentality for this game. He compared St. Louis to the way Portland plays, 4-4-2. Thought the two sides were very similar. Suggs just ran out of room. Now a counterpunch being thrown here. Dakers coming over to maintain the possession. Oh, you can see the disappointment in Anthony Poulos and Barton not getting the call there. Barton now working physically against Robinson, and he gets the call this time.
There should have been a call there. I think Coach Poulos is absolutely right. High foot from Robinson coming in on the initial challenge. And this is the foul that led to the free kick being called by Mr. Escobar. Should have been the first one in the right flank that should have been called, in my opinion.
Well, I know in basketball there are makeup calls, although officials are loath to admit it. That might have been one right there. Into the box, keeper off the line to come on, punch it out. Aggressive goalkeeping that time by Sayus.
Wasn't sure he was going to get there, Dave. Make the decision to come out.
Well, the first time he went way off the line, it didn't pay off as Gregg chipped it over him. And he had to turn around and watch helplessly as that went over his head for the lone goal of the game. Martz trying to lay it off. Will he get there? No. Hilton was the intended target. Right now, St. Louis trapping the ball, getting away with it. Martz has it taken away. Excellent job there by the back line, or make that Robinson coming over to help. And now you've got room here if you can find Jordan Burt, number 44. Schweitzer does indeed find Burt. Play on, says the referee. Burt, far post, headed. Opportunity for Jaquan. Schweitzer gets tripped. And let's see what the call is going to be here. Yellow card.
Jaquan coming back to the ball. Looked like he got a little nudge in the back and tried to oversell it to the official.
Now let's take a look here.
There was a little shove from Reynolds. And Jaquan goes to the ground, trying to sell the call. Gets a yellow card for his trouble for trying to win a penalty kick.
Well, Jaquan becomes the third player to get a caution card. I had wondered about the contact ahead of a Jaquan, just inside the box, but the official ruled that was not worthy of a penalty kick, and we played on until a Jaquan got hammered.
Well, certainly a lot of contact with numerous players involved.
Yeah, referee had his choice of people to call there, and he could have called a PK. Now the counterattack led by Martz. Laying it off for Barden, but the defense is there. Robinson coming back and doing a great job. And now they will get a goal kick out of it.
I've talked about it several times in this first half, the importance of tracking back as a midfielder. There's another fine example of it from Robinson. Before the melee that happened in the St. Louis's box, Burt came back defensively. Robinson again came back defensively to start the counterattack for the Switchbacks going forwards. St. Louis Hilton in the midfield for the home team, making defensive effort in his own box as well. So fine examples of the defensive side of the position of playing in the midfield.
Jaquan drew a double team that time, and he will draw a throw-in. We want to remind you to make sure you visit one of the 7 local St. Louis area Toyota dealers. Hilton trying to appeal a call that he's not going to get. And this is going to be an opportunity for Suggs to maybe throw one up there to see if anybody can tap it in with a head. That's the play. And it's flicked off, and I do believe there will be a corner kick. I thought that that hit Barden, and it did. So corner kick number 2 for Colorado Springs.
Dangerous defensive flick of the head by Barden, facing his own goal as he made contact. Actually did very well, did the outside back to put that one out for the corner kick.
Suggs will go to the other side this time, and again, left-footed in-swinger here. Seems to be the play. Last time they went far post, and it was too far. The header was not on goal. Again, far post. This time headed, and the defense got it. We have a man down in the box for St. Louis. It is cleared by St. Louis FC defensively.
Well, the Switchbacks have plenty of targets. Jamal Jack was in there trying to get on the end of that corner kick. I think it might have been Lewis Hilton. Again, his defensive role as a central midfielder comes into play.
Take a good look there at Shane Malcolm, who has an assist already this season for the Switchbacks. Dropped it off for a Jaquan who could not control it, and he was, again, double teamed, and so now it'll belong to St. Louis FC. Minute number 37 of an eventful first half with 3 cautions and a goal. And we'll remind you about those local St. Louis area Toyota dealers and visit one today, maybe when this match is over. Suggs breaking into the box. Barden cuts him off. It'll be another corner kick coming up for Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs playing a 4-3-3. Trying to also get width from their outside backs going forwards. Suggs, the left fullback for the Switchbacks.
Header on and too high. Schweitzer got a piece of that and into the top of the net.
The deep corner kick. Just over the crossbar. Not able to turn that one on frame.
I want to remind you to make sure you cast your vote for the USL Goal of the Week every Monday evening at USLsoccer.com as the road to the Fans' Choice USL Goal of the Year continues throughout the season. And it's always a fun vote for all of the different awards because you get to decide and you get to see some spectacular soccer. That'll be throw in here for St. Louis right in front of the head coach. Fourth official wanted some camera time there.
Very thankful that it was camera time without one of the coaches screaming at him.
That's a good point. He'll get it if when the substitutions happen, he'll put the board up. But yes, you're right. That was a peaceful moment in a job that I think is very, very difficult. Ajekwa. And that's going to draw a foul from Fink without question, and possibly more.
It should be a yellow card. That
Yep,
was not a good decision there from Fink. You know, the way he's running away from the Mr. Escobar.
I believe he just reached into the pocket as we go to the replay.
There's no real need there. I mean, he's got players there covering. You've got Reynolds goal side in great position to make the tackle. You just have to trust your defenders around you, your teammates, to hold things up so that you can get into a position to get goal side. And Mr. Fink does go into the referee's book. Is that number 4 for the night?
2 for each side. And we're still a few minutes away from halftime. Probably get a minute or two of stoppage time added on. So Suggs one more time into the breach. Over Hertzog, trying to go to Ajekwa, who had broken free. Long shot into a crowd of people by Kim, but Switchbacks maintained possession. St. Louis forechecking a bit, trying to force the turnover, and they get it. Can they keep it? No, they cannot. Good balancing act that time from Malcolm to keep it in play right on the line. Robinson. Taylor Hunter, number 6. He's kind of hanging back just in case St. Louis jailbreaks in the other direction. But right now, the pressure being put on and has been for most of the last 10 minutes or so by the visitors. And there's a shot blocked, but that leads to yet another corner kick.
Robinson certainly has been the brightest spark for the Switchbacks, drifting over to the right side, winning the corner kick for the Colorado Springs team on this occasion. So the Switchbacks had the opportunity to leave players up from the set piece earlier.
This one comes out looking dangerous. Ajekwa got a head on it, and it's going to go out of bounds. That was a dangerous-looking corner kick off the left foot of Josh Suggs.
So service into the near post area was delightful. Beats the defender. Ajekwa actually tried to do too much with the ball and ends up almost ducking underneath the flight of the cross. Hits him on the left shoulder and goes out for the goal kick. Suggs does serve a good ball with that left peg.
And Salt Lake defeating Portland 4-2, riding with a brace.
Some high-scoring games in the West so far this early part of the season.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. A lot of the changeover, sometimes defensive communication breaks down. And you can see Martz just begging for the ball and did not get it. And Malcolm almost went in the front row to try to chest trap that. He did, but St. Louis wins the possession.
And you see the frustration from Martz. I don't fault the pass going forwards, trying to find Greg into space from Hertzog. As the positioning of Martz going up the flank also opened up the passing lane for St. Louis to try and exploit.
You know, Jamal Jack got decked, and they played on. He took a few seconds to gather himself and is now back into the play. March that time got ahead of everybody. And now Robinson. And that's going to be a foul on Barden for a hook. Got to grab Robinson and spun him around a little bit.
You see Robinson there just talking to the referee saying, hey, he keeps doing that to me. Knows that Barden is already on a yellow card.
Service here, headed on, and Fendelson makes a spectacular save over the top. You knew eventually the Switchbacks were going to put one of those on goal.
Again, a fantastic service, this time from Robinson. Bird at the back post, just puts it back across the face of goal. Ends up testing the goalkeeper, who does really well. Nice sportsmanship from Ajekwa.
Now the corner off of that. It's going to be headed off the line. And great play there by Robinson again. Going back. St. Louis looked like they had a counterattack, and it was stopped. Malcolm running out of room. Will get a corner kick out of it.
Wonderful sliding tackle there.
But the last couple of times, it seems like every chance for Colorado when they throw it into the traffic gets better and better and better. So this is a dangerous moment as we approach the stoppage time reveal. Looking for Burt, perhaps, and Donaldson just went over the top of Shane Malcolm to grab it, and Fendelson, pardon me, and I don't blame him one bit.
I was glad that he made that stop on the cross. St. Louis FC are going to have to be a little bit careful, because that's the second time on a corner kick that they've had Robinson unmarked at the back post and unseen by Suggs. If that ball was delivered deep enough, Robinson's going to have a great look on frame.
Bit of a sloppy turnover that time, giving St. Louis FC an opportunity here. Ball. We're looking for only 60 seconds for stoppage time. Schweitzer, usually you find him on the attack going forward. That time he gives it up. Wall fall, comes away with it. Now a little bit of room here and a little chip, and I'm not sure what that was from Lewis Hilton. As you see, 1 minute stoppage time is brought to you by Hot Shots. Be sure you visit one of the 12 local Hot Shots locations after the match.
Hilton was just trying to anticipate the run of Hertzog or Greg to the back post, threading it through the passing lane that was available to him. Not going to fault the central midfielder for that effort. The run has to come from those forwards in support.
Yeah, it did look like a shot. You know, and Hilton's a bright player, so I agree. I think it was just a little mix-up. But again, when you have guys who have been all over the USL and even the NASL playing together for the first time as a group for a month or so, it's not easy. There is the referee's whistle. He stuck right to that 1 minute. So St. Louis gets the goal in the 5th minute from Kyle Gregg. An eventful first half with cautions on each side, 2, as a matter of fact, for each team. And this halftime is brought to you by Hollywood Casino. St. Louis going to the dressing room with the advantage, 1-0 over the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Our halftime festivities will begin in a moment.
There's really only one place where the carpets are always red and the stars are everywhere you look. There's no place like Hollywood. Hollywood Casino St. Louis.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to the electricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
Spring is coming. Enjoy the season with a great deal on a new Toyota. Like low APR financing on the technology-loaded Corolla, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Tundra, and more.
I'm rebuilding the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Lease a new 2018 RAV4 for $229 per month with $1,000 lease bonus cash. Or get 0% APR financing plus $500 bonus cash.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
St. Louis FC leading the Switchbacks FC 1-0 here. Halftime brought to you by Hollywood Casino. You know, the guys spend a lot of time each week on the training ground getting ready for the upcoming game. But you got to have a little fun once in a while too, right? St. Louis FC captain Jonathan Barton is our host in this week's edition of the Crossbar Challenge presented by Hollywood Casino.
If I could be any superhero, who would I be?
If I could be a superhero.
If I could be a superhero, I'd be Superman, because he's super. He has all the superpowers.
If you're Thor, you're kind of Norse god or something, but he's kind of got basically whatever he wants to do, so probably, we'll say Thor.
I love the Ninja Turtles. I still have the action figures, underwear, grown-up underwear, not like the whitey-tighties and stuff. Like the 90s ones where they're in the suits, dope.
If I can be a superhero, I would probably be Superman. Probably because I can just get up and just fly wherever I want.
Batman, coolest car, driving around, just saving the place. Why wouldn't you want to be that?
Probably Batman, because there's some pretty good movies and I could be in the movies.
Superman, because he's super.
I think I would be the Dark Knight, because I like that movie.
I'd be Spider-Man, being able to do whatever you want. It's pretty cool.
If I could be any superhero, I'd be Flash, because he's fast.
The Flash, because he's fast. He gets around places really quick.
The answer was Dash. I kind of thrive on my speed on the field, but I'd like to take that to the next level and be even faster.
Maybe Batman. Got a lot of money, that's cool. His lair, his Batcave is sweet.
I would probably be Batman because he is the greatest superhero. He has a cape and he is jacked. On the side, he's also a billionaire, so why wouldn't you want to be him? If I could be any superhero, who would I be? Black Panther.
That one is now going to continue our halftime with part 3 of a conversation with Jake Edwards.
We're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL. Just getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure. So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the Usl Ownership Group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues. They bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different programs that our teams run. So for me, it's a privilege to get to work with all of these very experienced businessmen and women on a daily basis, and I'm just constantly thrilled by the commitment and investment they have into their local communities and ultimately into our our sport. The new owners that are joining our league now are coming in every year with bigger ambitions. For us, we continue to drive value from a business point of view. The model continues to attract more and more sophisticated owners into the league, and that's something that we believe will have such a positive impact on the future of this league and the new initiatives that we want to embark upon.
Last year we surpassed 2 million in attendance. Talk about what your expectations are for this season, and in terms of attendance at live games and just overall awareness of the league.
Yeah, our fans are the lifeblood of this league, as they are for every league. We've seen the support for our clubs grow exponentially. We're already significantly ahead of where we were this time last year on average per club for season tickets. I think it speaks to the excitement. It speaks to what's happening in the local communities. It speaks to all of the things we're trying to do, building new stadiums, creating more exciting, authentic environments, attracting better players, having a more competitive and compelling league. I think it's, at least for the league office here, a substantial investment in content production and infrastructure around the broadcast, around the digital and social. And so we take great pride in growing that area of the business and engaging with the fans from a team point of view and a league point of view.
And you can look at the entire interview at USL.com on YouTube. Meantime, USL News and Notes, Louisville City, the defending champions, a winner on a record Saturday. USL featuring 16 games today. They've never had a bigger day as far as the number of games. And on Wednesday, earlier this week, Orange County FC, by the way, they're a big winner today, and Fresno FC both getting victories away from home a few nights ago. And Western scoring, Matt, versus Eastern defense. We were talking about the high scoring in the Western Conference, and take a look. The dominant offensive teams are in the West, while the clean sheets are East.
Well, there's balance in the league one way or the other, but there's a lot of offensive output in the West. And you mentioned one, Orange County, we've got 5 goals against Tulsa today, so that continues. So it's an exciting Western division as far as that's concerned, but good, strong defense on the East.
We take a look at some notable games for week number 4 in the league. And speaking of Tulsa, they took a tough one today. They're going to be taking on Portland Wednesday night. Saturday, it is always interesting when Cincinnati and Louisville, they're not that far apart geographically. And the defending champs take on FC Cincinnati. Nashville SC will be at Charlotte. And then for your evening's entertainment, the late night place to be, Seattle, Sacramento Republic FC at Seattle Sounders 2. Those are some of the notable games for next week in the USL. Right here, it is 1-0 St. Louis on top with the Switchbacks FC. We'll take a look at some of the first half highlights and the stats when we return.
Spring is coming. Enjoy the season with a great deal on a new Toyota. Like low APR financing on the technology-loaded Corolla, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Tundra, and more.
I'm rebuilding the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Lease a new 2018 RAV4 for $229 per month with $1,000 lease bonus cash. Or get 0% APR financing plus $500 bonus cash.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees.
There's really only one place where the carpets are always red and the stars are everywhere you look. There's no place like Hollywood. Hollywood Casino St. Louis.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to theelectricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce. Your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
Well, welcome back to the Hollywood Casino halftime feature. And Matt Stubbington and Dave Lamont with you, where St. Louis FC lead 1-0 at halftime over the Colorado Springs FC Switchbacks.
We go to Kyle Gregg is our big highlight, Matt, in this first half. And just like a week ago against San Antonio, it's Gregg early and often.
That's a beautiful ball played forwards by Lewis Hilton. Goalkeeper Suez Sayus didn't know whether to come or not, hesitated, and Gregg pounced, chips it over the goalkeeper. The ball just checks up on the turf just a little bit. The goalkeeper hesitates, but Gregg does not. And beware the bouncing ball. Over the head of the keeper it goes. Seemed to take an age to go in the back of the net, but it did go in the back of the net. This one didn't take an age to go past the post. It was a well-struck shot with the right foot off of the free kick from Hertzog. The goalkeeper breathes a huge sigh of relief that missed his right hand upright.
And in the first half, we saw a lot of this pressure coming from all sides from St. Louis.
St. Louis FC did a great job switching the point of attack, keeping possession, trying to force the issue. Some long balls played forwards. Hertzog again disappointed he didn't put that one on frame. But towards the latter part of the first half, the Switchbacks came into the fray a little bit, getting some shots on and around the target. And then the goalkeeper was challenged. Fennelson had to come up with a huge save towards the last part of the first half. Robinson here with the ball played into the back post. Burt goes up highest, just looping header. Jaguar is there. The goalkeeper has to make the stop and tips it over the crossbar with the right hand.
If you take a look at the statistics, you see shots equal, shots on target favoring St. Louis FC. Possession certainly by 11%. And we've had yellow cards galore in this match. So we'll take a look first off what the Switchbacks have, and we're going to the midweek game coming up at Swope Park on the 4th, and they go home to take on RGV on the 7th, then at Reno, at Sacramento, and then Seattle. So that's a long road trip, and that's an interesting bus ride from Reno to Sacramento if you make that someday. I tell you, that is very adventurous, very hilly, and lots of fun. So that I'm sure their bus driver is well aware of the hazards of going from Reno to Sacramento and reverse, but it's a pretty drive. Now the next 5 for St. Louis, we know we're beginning a 3-game homestand here with Fresno and Los Dos. Then at OKC Energy, the Western finalists from a year ago. Swope Park Rangers a week after that. Then May 5th versus Portland Timbers 2. That will be back at Toyota Stadium.
Some interesting games there, and next week looking forward to seeing the one against Fresno FC. Tough opponent, have never say die attitude in the Central Valley.
And they know how to win on the road, as they've already proven with a road win just a few nights ago. Fresno making an early splash in the United Soccer League. Players just getting back out from the dressing rooms, getting loosened up just a little bit. Opportunity for the substitutes to get some touches, and who knows who these coaches will go to. And also this is fun for the players getting and the fans a chance to go through the stands to get onto the pitch.
Great for the youngsters to see the heroes up close. Little high fives as they go down the pitch, and there is one of the heroes, Gregg. Beautiful finish on the only goal of the game so far.
Well, he was a dead-eye scorer in college at Benedictine. He had 43 goals in his college career, and last year was in Vancouver and Cincinnati. And now I'm sure they're delighted to have him to St. Louis. He has 2 goals already this year. Well, we mentioned the West and the high scores, and it is a final. Orange County defeating Tulsa 5-0. So the Roughnecks having a disastrous game defensively, or Orange County a brilliant game offensively. I guess it depends on who you're rooting for in that one. Take a look at Anthony Poulos. Been in Orlando up until his first season as the St. Louis FC head coach. And we'll see if he's made any tactical changes with his side up They dominated most of the play, probably the first 30 minutes or so. Then there was a good stretch where the Switchbacks put on a lot of heat.
And Switchbacks, we're just starting to find a way to switch the point of attack a little bit quicker, play the ball with less touches, less hesitation. And that's what was causing some problems for St. Louis FC. Also, they weren't getting onto the end of those long balls that were being played forwards. Be interested to see what the style of play changes a little bit for the home side. Try and possess the ball a little bit more in the middle of the pitch.
Well, they start with it right now, and here's another long ball, this time from Fink, and it's too long, and it'll be a goal kick coming up here for Stuart Sayus.
I guess the answer to that question is no. They're not going to try and possess the ball more in the middle of the pitch with a long clearance like that.
No changes have been passed along to us just yet with Matt Stubbington, Dave Lamont. Toyota Stadium, the site for this USL match. St. Louis in front 1-0 over the Switchbacks.
I think one of the things in the first half, towards the part of the game where the Switchbacks started to get on the front foot a little bit, Wolf Fall tended to disappear a little bit. We didn't mention him a lot in the latter part of that first half. And he was in and around the play alongside Lewis Hilton a lot for the first 30 minutes.
So you're saying that Fall fell off?
I'll let you go with that one.
Yeah, I'll take the hit for both of us, Matt. I have no problems. Vercoloni with a touch now. Shane Malcolm. And Kyle Culbertson, number 5, and all the way back to Jake Fendelson. 70% save percentage. Gave up 3 goals the first 2 games. Clean so far. And a little bit of touch for everybody here to get everybody reincorporated into the game. The USL's official Twitter feed will keep you up to date with news, live game updates, and highlights from around the league 24/7. Follow at USL on Twitter. A little wrestling match going on that time with Vercoloni and Dakers, who put the hands up like I didn't do it. Referee says play on. Fall tried to drop one in carefully, but too many white shirts around it.
Vercoloni there with an important challenge. Martz was getting ahead of steam going up, trying to get through that back line.
That was an offside call against Colorado Springs. And Dakers whiffed on the pass, trying to get service back to Culbertson, and he just flat missed it. Little hip check, that's going to cost Fall. Good example of what we mean by an advantage. That time the advantage was lost, so the referee had to blow the whistle. Sometimes those things happen, and if a team keeps the attack, he might just let it go. Well, they go wide right here, overdone. Culbertson gets rid of it. Neither side making any changes at halftime. Take a look at Sean Reynolds, who was with the champions last year, Louisville. Every player in this starting lineup for St. Louis FC was on another USL team or in the NASL a year ago. Unbelievable. Actually, Fendelson was in the league a couple of years ago with Orlando B. The goalkeeper for St. Louis FC, the St. Louligans, happy so far with this result. And Fendelson will easily track that down.
Good passes, nice skill. Vercoloni, beautiful chest trap on this near sideline. But both teams so far haven't found any rhythm going into their attacking thirds.
See the result, and OC getting a hat trick from Anne Volson. Hertzog has his attempt at service knocked out of bounds by the back line. Burt that time getting in the way. Steve Trittschuh, the head coach, right there closest to us. The only head coach that the Colorado Springs Switchbacks have known. Service in, headed away. Fall. And now the keeper will finally get involved. He had had enough of waiting and brought in that high pop-up.
Important headers from Jamal Jack. Certainly the first one.
Yeah, I think when Jamal Jack heads it, the ball goes into concussion protocol.
Looked like Greg was coming in at the back post. Jamal Jack made sure of the clearing header. Hunter was goal side of Greg, but his central back teammate, number 8, needed to make sure of the clearance.
Dakers being marked that time by Malcolm, gets through one, trying to get through a second defender and could not. Bercoloni held his ground beautifully that time for the Switchbacks. Trying to start things in the other direction, and it'll be cut off here by Sam Fink. And to the captain, John Barden. Josh Suggs is the captain for the Switchbacks, number 5. So a couple of veteran defenders wear the captain's armband. Dakers has a little room here. And again, trying to get it into Hertzog, who had gotten past a couple of defenders, but it was headed away. It could be a chance here. Hertzog will strike, but it's wide. Gathered it, fired it, and missed.
He had moments last season while he was in Pittsburgh where he'd go on a run of scoring a plethora of goals, and he'd have those moments where it seemed like he couldn't buy a goal, and he probably feels that way 3 games into this young season, that he's getting his opportunities. He leads the team in shots taken, but just hasn't been able to find the back of the net as yet.
You can hear lots of yelling, followed by a whistle. And that will favor St. Louis. Schweitzer not protesting, he knows.
So I thought that Culbertson was a bit hard done by for the whistle, but it was actually against Schweitzer, not against Culbertson. Certainly Anthony Poulos was demonstrating that there was a foul there.
And a wall fall. In the 53rd minute, we've had no change to our halftime score. St. Louis, and they scored in the 5th minute on Kyle Gregg's 2nd tally of the season. And this is a Western Conference game that is not typical with what we've told you about already this season. We've had games of 5, games with 4. Up the back, here's a chance in front, and a beautiful play defensively that time by Jamal Jack to prevent perhaps a goal, or at least a great opportunity.
Full stretch there, Jamal Jack. Jaquan, I think he feels like he was fouled there. Ball played into the near post area. There was Hertzog waiting to pounce. Big number 8 makes the challenge at the near post and puts it out for the corner kick.
Yeah, there was almost nothing between Hertzog and the goalkeeper. Corner kick brought to you by Electro Savings. Into traffic. Keeper off the line, can't find the ball, and it's wiped out of there by Malcolm, unless we had a call from the referee earlier, and that appears to be the case. No, it's going to be a throw-in, not for him, but it will be a throw-in for St. Louis. So there was no whistle. He just lost sight of the ball for a moment.
Ball high in the air from the corner kick. Difficult to deal with by the goalkeeper, and Sayus didn't do the best job that he could as the goalkeeper.
It's a 50-50 ball. Still being fought for. The referee will step in and decide it's going to go in favor of Colorado Springs.
Switchbacks trying to just take their time, set things up. Hunter there was trying to bait Greg into maybe a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, it'd be our 5th yellow card if we had one there. 4 in the first half. Now, Culbertson with an excellent effort, but it is out of bounds. He almost made a remarkable save. You take that full-on hit from Vercoloni and then keep the ball in play, but it went over the line. Got a good look there at what one of the coaches, in that case Anthony Poulos, what his view of the game looks like. Schweitzer lays it off, knocked away. And possession in this half, again, St. Louis. This is how the game started. St. Louis had a big possession advantage. They ended up having an 11% advantage at the break, but there was absolutely a stretch, as that's a turnover there, where they had a major advantage in possession early on.
Doesn't feel, though, in this second half that the possession's been as effective up the pitch for the home team.
Fendelson had to get in between at that time as there was some pressure coming from Saeed Robinson, the Jamaican. And I completely agree. I wouldn't say that anybody's had an advantage in the first, coming up now on 12 minutes in this half. Skillfully headed back by Taylor Hunter. Now into the wind, we've had a shift. You can see where those flags are blowing, and this time it's now going to be in the face of the Switchbacks. Here's a little bit of run. Hertzog lays it off for Hilton. He'll strike from distance, and oh, that was very dangerous with Martz breaking through.
Well, Martz has drifted more into the middle of the pitch from his right wing position that he played most of the first half. Hilton shaping the shot, going to the far post, and Martz quite smartly continuing his run into the box. Maybe half a step faster, he'd have been toe poking that one past the goalkeeper, Sayus.
Throw-in coming up here for the Switchbacks.
Certainly feels like Martz is drifting further and further into the pitch. Perhaps Coach Poulos is trying to get his width from his outside backs on that far sideline. Certainly Barden had his fair share of advancement up the pitch in the first 45 minutes.
Well, the USL's official Facebook page brings you the best from across the league. News, highlights, and interactive features like the USL on Facebook to get the league's best content delivered to you. .50-50 there at midfield. I mean, nobody with firm grasp on it yet. Now St. Louis will play it back to the keeper. Culbertson just got there ahead of his opposite number for Vercoloni. Looking for a defensive error from Jamal Jack. Greg checking him. Greg steals it, lays it off, and that shot is blasted to the other field. It looks like they were pleading for a handball. Let's take a look.
Well played in by Hertzog. Jamal Jack, like he was trying to use his chest to control the ball. Did so. Ball was...
I wonder if they thought it was right there on the shot.
I mean, look, that shot was going high and wide anyway, whether it's deflected or not. And that would have been a really tough call if it did deflect off the arm.
Little give and go. Dakers trying to get there first. Vercoloni makes the play. However, that's going to get us to another Electro Savings corner kick. Even the coach has to stay hydrated. Let's see who St. Louis brings down here. Sayus trying to get his guys lined up. This could be, nope, Sayus punches it out. And a counterattack on the way here from the Switchbacks. And it's interrupted by Sean Reynolds.
Great shape defensively there from the home team. Reynolds just stepping up into the point. He had the cover and the balance with his players around him. Vercoloni just shoulders the Akers off of the ball. No call from the official. But on the far side, the side of the pitch, Reynolds steps up beautifully. Fink was in support, and Culbertson was coming back as cover.
Now Robinson looked like he had a nice run there, and then he laid it off, but did not have enough on it. And Dakers has some room to work here. And Vercoloni not giving up real estate very easily. That was well played. Dakers tried to wrong foot him there.
Shoulder to shoulder. Just the veteran defender there, Vercoloni, just stepping in front. Just as Dakers was almost level with him, he realized that he needed to drift to his left a little bit to prevent Dakers getting a run on the ball. Shoulder to shoulder, fair challenge.
Throwing coming up for St. Louis FC. They have the only goal of the game. Kyle Gregg, his second goal of the season. That was in the 5-minute mark. And that looks dangerous. Robinson lays it off for Schweitzer. Now Robinson. St. Louis getting back as fast as they can. Robinson lays it off, and Fink is there to wipe it out. Throw-in will go to the Switchbacks. Robinson again. And now a corner kick coming up.
Almost a disastrous back pass there from the home team. Fink was there to spare the blushes, getting back defensively and taking the ball off the foot of Robinson. Still, the danger is not cleared.
Well, we've seen a lot out of Josh Suggs. This time it'll be Vercoloni. Well, he wants as much running room as possible. Comes out low and hard, and it's swept away.
They'll be hoping that they don't get another corner kick from that side. The St. Louligans will give him what for.
Well, now also the people who paid for that sign would like to have a rebate at least, or a freebie. It's been quickly put back into place, however. And now Dakers, can he get there? He can. He'll shoot it right on, and Sayus punching it away.
There was some movement on that ball. Sayus was expecting that to drift to his far post a little bit more than it did.
That's going to go against the home squad.
Dakers collects the ball so nicely. He just squares up Kim, drops the right shoulder, puts his foot through the back of the ball, and you can see Sayus was anticipating the shot, going to his left a little bit more, and had to adjust mid-dive. Gets enough on the ball to clear the danger on the save.
That was close to a handball. The referee rules play on. Culbertson. That's just kept going. Nobody interrupted him till finally Vercoloni did. And a little mix-up there. And St. Louis FC will keep the heat on.
Schweitzer very frustrated, angry with where that ball went after the challenge.
We're also getting near the time of the match where the head coaches are really thinking about changes, substitutions. They've had none of the game so far.
Seen players warming up on the Switchbacks bench.
Well, they have 5 available, including a keeper. So really 4 field players. Dakers laying it off for Greg. Greg, Hertzog, still going. And it's finally stopped, but not out of the box. And then chipped away by Suggs, but not all the way out. Stolen. And St. Louis will try to keep the heat on. Top of the box, Dakers pleading for the ball. Now Shane Malcolm, an aggressive play on the ball to get Culbertson out of the way. Fink playing back. Good touch there from Hertzog, trying to get it through to Greg, and it's not going to work, but Dakers is nearby, and so is Hertzog. On the run, it'll be the defense that gets there first. Taylor Hunter laid it off. They were trying to get it to Hilton, just not right.
I think Corey Hertzog and Jamal Jack did a few 1v1s last year when they were in Pittsburgh together. So like Corey said, I'm not going to beat you this time, I'll pass it off. It was a great idea seeing Martz on that far sideline. Suggs was wise to it, goes out, wins the ball, starts things off going the other way for the Switchbacks. Again, they're not able to get any real possession in their attacking third. They haven't done to speak of this entire second half.
Kim with a quick touch. Now Malcolm with Dakers on him. Kim again, just outside the box. Can't do much with it. Fink is there.
Schweitzer's body language right now is very negative.
Watch for 22 in white. That's Jordan Schweitzer from Canada. Hanging out just outside the 18 right now. Swinging wide right. Our only goal of the match in the first 5 minutes. Not a typical Western Conference game, and a little mix-up that time between Reynolds and Fennelson. And Fennelson just kept going, which was the wise move.
He's telling his teammates to calm down a little bit. His communication. Reynolds thinking the goalkeeper was coming a little bit quicker than he was. And in the end, it was a full sprint for Fennelson to get there and make the stop.
He had Mathis bearing down on him, and Reynolds had a little bit of a screen. And again, that one laid off a little too casually, and Fennelson is alert and just gets rid of it.
Interestingly, Ajakwa has drifted out to the left wing for the Switchbacks. Malcolm, Robinson, and Schweitzer up top. I thought Robinson was pretty effective in the position that Ajakwa is occupying at the moment during the first half, and Robinson hasn't really seen much of the ball in this early part of the second half.
Now Barton with the throw in here. Minute number 69, Hilton. Back to Barton, Hilton. Can Dakers get there first? He can. And Dakers is going to get there second as well. He's got Greg wide open, and a great tackle by Jamal Jack. If Dakers had beaten Jack, Greg was standing there with a goal opportunity. Now Ajakwa was on the run, and Fink just puts that one into Fenton.
Great effort there from Dakers to get the ball. Cheeky little touch. Gets into the attacking third. He had the support of Greg. Jamal Jack shows what a great player he is.
That's a potential goal-saving tackle that he made right there. One more time for Dakers, and he'll get there. Doesn't have a lot of room to work with. Vercoloni all over him, and then draws the foul. St. Louis with the steal. Hilton gets it back. Laid off by Fall. Fall again with it. Flag's got to be up. It is. Flag is up. That's an offside. Clever, but offside.
Interchange of passes was intricate. Just not quite quick enough to beat the flag. Warfall combining with Hertzog trying to spring Greg, but Greg had just drifted.
Well, you could see we're about due to get our first substitution. Joey Calistri is about to check into the match for St. Louis. He had a start in the last game. And Dakers will step out. So Calistri in, Dakers out. And that substitution brought to you by G&W. G&W Meats. So we have one substitution in the book. And that miscommunication will lead to a goal kick.
Looks like he went out just this side of the corner flag, so it'd be a great opportunity for the switchbacks. Or maybe not. I thought it went out for a throw-in. The linesman thinks it went out for a throw-in.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I miss, and now Valesky looks like he's going to come in too.
Well, in your defense, Suggs was right there, and he thought it went out for a goal kick too. So he's a lot closer to the action than you or I.
Well, every once in a while, Christian Valesky out of Henderson, Nevada. And in time for another G&W Meats substitution. And Greg will check out of the game, the goal scorer. So forward for a forward there.
Nice round of applause from the faithful here.
So two substitutions made in short order by Anthony Poulos. Some fresh legs on the attack, and here is Calistri. Laying it off for Culbertson. All the way back to Reynolds, but he has to be careful with Robinson lurking. And of course, Calistri was not in St. Louis last year. He was with Tulsa, where he had 9 goals.
They could have used him in Tulsa today.
Yes, if he had scored 9, they would have won 9-5. And Valesky, unbelievably, with St. Louis a year ago.
Keep looking at the switchbacks. It does seem like Coach Tritzschuh has changed his lineup tactically a little bit. Trying to get a feel for it. Certainly Robinson is up top with Jaguar dropping off. It almost feels like they've gone to a 4-2-3-1 perhaps.
But he has not changed personnel. He still has all of his substitutions available.
May even be that he's gone to just a straight 4-4-2, but I don't think he's really working in this second half.
Hertzog was trying to get a handball call there, but did not get it. And Schweitzer will force the pass back to the keeper. And he'll just hook it. Not the best kick from Fennelson, and it's going to give Vercoloni an opportunity here. We've had no cautions in this half. We had 4 in the first half. And, of course, no scoring in this half. Greg's goal, and he is now out of the game, is all we have with St. Louis in front 1-0.
Switchbacks might be going to their bench.
And that's exactly what is happening here as Toby Uzo will come in, Nigerian, and this is a big man right here, 6'4", 213. Kim will check out.
don't think Kim had his best game tonight.
Now, Usl is not the tallest, by the way. If you count the goalkeeper, it's 6'6". But any kind of set pieces or corners, if they get one, I would got to think that Usl is going to be a huge target. Number 24 in white. Calistri. Give and go, interrupted by Vercoloni. Ooh, that has to hurt just a little bit. Hertzog, he'll get up and jog it off. Trying to get it to Robinson. He's clean over the goal, and a goal kick coming up. Robinson continues to be dangerous, the most dangerous Switchbacks player so far.
He's had a very good game tonight. Lots of skill going forwards. Tricky on the run, difficult to defend. Not sure whether he was shooting this or crossing this. He had players in and around the box if he could have found them, but in the end, Martz was there defensively to stop that pass back to the penalty spot that you'll try and hit if you're a player in that position. So in the end, it was all that Robinson could do was to cross it over the face of the goal, trying to hit somebody chipped at the far post.
77th minute, and once again, Colorado Springs on the attack. And Fink will sweep it away into the crowd. Ooh.
Committed players going for the ball, and the studs going up along the outside of Hertzog's leg there. That will leave a mark. It's very sore.
Schweitzer laying it off for Vercoloni. The cross. Too far and headed away by the captain, John Barden. Colorado Springs keeping the pressure on. Barden going all out to try to get it out of there. Fennelson. Ball is loose. And the opportunity, and Jordan Burt knows it, was there. And instead he back passed to Shane Malcolm, who missed by a mile.
Well, it's a mistake by the goalkeeper, off balance. Burt just couldn't get the bounce. In the end, he did the right thing, laying the ball back to Malcolm. But Malcolm, seeing the fluorescent green of Fennelson coming towards him and the dark green of the St. Louis defenders behind the keeper, tried to do the spectacular with the outside of the right boot and ends up puts in it well over the crossbar from not very far out.
As good a chance as the Switchbacks have had, certainly in this half, maybe for the entire match. And that foul going against St. Louis.
Smile from Schweitzer as Hertzog throws the ball to the fourth official, saying, I think the ball's soft, that's why my touch is off.
Yes, that must be it. Hard professional tackle that time by Barden. And it will lead to another corner kick here for Colorado Springs. And this is where you should keep an eye out for 24 here, Usl. There he is. They ruled not a corner, but a throw-in instead. So a break for St. Louis. Schweitzer. And missed everything there.
How about the athleticism there of Robinson to stay on his feet under the challenge and still get the ball passed to a teammate as he's going to the deck.
Ejekwa, whom we identified as a player of the game, has had a quiet half. Does have one goal this season for the Switchbacks. And you see Usl in the air that time, going against Fall. Opportunity here, Hilton. Oh, and it didn't work out. However, it does lead to the corner.
That was well done there by the Switchbacks defense to stop the pass coming in from Calistri to find a teammate. But watch the movement here. of Martz. He was trying to find a way to get to the penalty spot, realized that the angle had been taken away, and then recycles his run to the far post.
That's our Electro Savings corner kick. Correction, that was actually Valesky who had the opportunity there. Number 9, not number 8. Now Culbertson with the left foot. Looking for Fink. Gets his head on it and got hit in the back of the head. Into traffic. Good skill there by Uzo. St. Louis trying to keep it in. Martz couldn't quite get there. Culbertson, that's an important header. The foot race is on. Robinson gets by. And a great tackle. Unbelievable play made by Sean Reynolds to save it. No call. And Reynolds will kick it into the stands.
Great ball played forwards. Culbertson made a hash of the backwards header. Robinson, great imagination to get around the goalkeeper. The Switchbacks might have a case for a penalty, but I think that was a fantastic tackle from Reynolds.
That was all or nothing, as we had the situation very similar to what we saw in the first half when Kyle Gregg was able to get it past the keeper who was way off the line. And a call going in favor of St. Louis FC here in the 81st minute.
Reynolds had to make sure of that tackle. Otherwise, the Colorado Springs scoring drought might have just ended.
How about that? 216 minutes and counting, as another substitution here for the Switchbacks. They're going to go ahead with Vernerni Valima from Finland. Valima in for Verkalone. Valima, should say.
Barden's going for a walk there with the ball. I'm surprised the referee didn't call him back.
Well, he's going to get to walk a few more feet. Let's see where he ends up by the time he throws this. He's just about at the mid-stripe. He is at the mid-stripe. He's in Colorado Springs territory by the time he threw that.
That's the old saying, give him an inch. Soccer terms, it's give him a throw in, they'll take a mile.
Well, we had the referee call a foul against St. Louis, and you could see that it was Robinson who took the brunt of that, but St. Louis having to get back quickly on defense as the pressure coming from the Switchbacks. They go in for Uzo. Robinson has a chance at the top, but didn't really get a clean look at it. And Fennelson will get it just over the head, but not out. This is Malcolm. Schweitzer dropped back a bit. Malcolm again. And all the way back to Jamal Jack.
Hertzog's.
That might be the leg that he got kicked on earlier, or he could be cramping. Now, each side has a substitution, so if Hertzog cannot continue, and it's right in front of their bench, by the way, the St. Louis bench, so, and now Hertzog just can't get up. So for the first time, we'll see a trainer out, and we don't know if this is something new that happened to Hertzog. It happened away from the play, or what we showed you earlier where he took a kick to the leg in a collision. But he's not a very happy man right now. It feels like this was forced. Now, will he be taken completely out, or will he have to wait for the permission to be waved back in? I think they're just going to take him out.
6 minutes to go in the game. It may have been to the point where Coach Pulis was going to make a tactical change anyway.
Well, you've got Fenwell Kavita standing right there. Hertzog clearly uncomfortable.
It's interesting, the referee didn't actually call the play dead. Fennelson had the ball in his hand the whole time, even though the athletic trainer came out and Corey Hertzog went to the sideline. So the substitution can't be made because the ball was never blown dead. Now it's out for a throw-in, then I think the change will be made.
Logically, it would be for Hertzog. But that's a one-way board. So our fourth official is going to have, there it is, it will be for Hertzog. And the substitution, of course, is brought to you by G&W Meats. So Fenwell Kavita will come in for Hertzog, and that concludes the substitution portion of the game for St. Louis FC. Now Kavita, a defenseman.
Hertzog had been waved back into the play. He's now in the middle of the pitch, limping over towards the sideline.
Yeah, that's about if he's favoring that leg, that's where he was kicked earlier. Now, if something happened to aggravate that, because remember, he was turning around and pointing. Now, he could have been pointing at a teammate, saying something encouraging, or he could have been talking a little trash to a switchback player. We did not get a good, clean look at that.
Didn't seem like it was encouraging to a
no, he looked pretty angry. I was trying to play it both ways there. So the 86th minute, the Switchbacks have one substitution left if they'd like. A little concern now for Hertzog. Of course, they are off until Saturday as far as matches go. Opportunity, oh, that was close. That could have been dangerous that time. Calistri held off because if he'd gone for it, he would have been offsides. But that had some danger written on it. And now that's going to be intercepted by Hilton, laying it off for Fall. Valesky now Fall. Hilton, he'll fire. Just missed. Could have been the clincher.
Well, Hilton started the move with the intercept. It all fell apart a little bit until Will Fall stepped up to the plate and put some authority in the middle of the pitch there, right at the top of the box. Found his teammate and central midfield partner, Hilton. He fires just wide.
See, it's been a while since St. Louis has had a shutout. That was against Orlando B last season. Looking for their first win of the season to pick up 3 points in the West. Switchbacks came to town, 1 win, 1 defeat. And as we showed you, they're about 220 plus minutes without a goal. And there's officially the substitution. Not Greg, actually. It was Hertzog, number 11, who was taken out. Greg is already out of the game. Hard contact. And I believe that's Uzo is going to be hit with that foul, taking down Wallfall.
I like the way he plays the game. It seems like he has a bunch of time on the ball when it's on his feet. But then there are other times where he just seems to disappear from a game, but it's also the mark of a good central midfielder. That if you're doing your job right, sometimes you're not noticed at all. Hilton's a busy player and the eye goes to him a little bit more. If you're playing the game simply as a central midfielder, you're doing your job defensively, but you're also you're negating passes going through your area of the pitch, and if the ball's going to you, you're playing it off to a teammate in 1 or 2 touches, so you're not dribbling the ball a whole lot.
Well, as we approach minute 89, the mystery is how much stoppage time will be. We've had no goals, no cautions. We did have a visit from the athletic trainer to deal with Hertzog. We have not had a lot of lectures or long pauses, so it may not be more than 1 to 2 minutes. Of course, this is a way to get stoppage time added on with, I got it, no, you take it.
It's an easy way to get a yellow card for unsportsmanlike conduct as well.
Yep, Josh Suggs arguing over where that he feels that injustice was done. Now he feels like justice has been done. And this is dangerous. Suggs has a very good left foot. Into traffic. Headed on, and Fenelson is equal to the task as the 6'4" Uzo puts it right at the keeper.
You would say he was going to be a target, and he certainly was. It's almost as if he went up to jump for the ball and realized he didn't have to. The merest of glancing blows with the forehead, and easy for the goalkeeper. Gets his body behind the ball, makes the save. Usl will rue that one. He knows that should have been in the back of the net.
He was unmarked. 90th minute. And a throw in for St. Louis deep into Switchbacks territory.
Coloni there is off the pitch, but he's standing, encouraging his teammates to move the ball forwards, play the game at a faster pace as 3 minutes remain in this game.
And this stoppage time brought to you by Hot Shots Bar and Grill. Make sure you visit one of 12 locations in the area. Ooh, almost a dangerous play that time by Wall-Fall. Laid off for Hilton. And he does the wise thing. Off to Reynolds. Reynolds had a big play defensively in this half with a tackle on an open Saeed Robinson, who had gotten past the keeper. Fennelson's got to get rid of it, and he does, right to Culbertson. So that'll take care of your first minute of stoppage time right there. That was out of play. Will belong to Colorado Springs. You can see. Hurry up, fellas. The message from the coach. They don't need to be told. They know. Switched over to Suggs. He'll get it back. Schweitzer. Over to Robinson. Service into the box. Headed on, and the goalkeeper anticipated that one from Burt all the way. Two pretty good, one really good opportunity, and that one wasn't bad at all.
Oh, beautiful ball movement. The overlap run from Hunter was a good one. Wrong foots the defenders, allowing Robinson the space to cross the ball, and I think Burt would have been better served just to head that one back across goal, because Usl was there, as was a Jakwa, I think.
So just about 2 of our 3 minutes of stoppage time now off the books. Perhaps one more chance for the Switchbacks. Here's Taylor Hunter. Back to Schweitzer. Jack over to Suggs. Suggs again, left foot leader into traffic. Reynolds is there. Laid off for Schweitzer. He'll try to cross. It's low. And a big clear that time from Hilton. Around 20 seconds remaining if the official is faithful to that stoppage time. That'll kill some time. Last chance, it appears, for Colorado Springs. And Fennelson grabs it just barely legally. And that's it. Spiking it with authority. Fennelson with 2 big saves in the final moments. And Anthony Pulis gets his first win as St. Louis FC coach. Back home, and the homestand begins for St. Louis FC with a clean sheet for Jake Fennelson. 1-0 over the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. We'll step aside, and Matt and I will have final thoughts. This USL victory for St. Louis, their first of the season, 1-0.
When you need quality electrical work for your home or business, look to theelectricalconnection.org. Created as a partnership between IBEW Local 1 electricians and the St. Louis chapter of the National Electrical Contractors Association, the Electrical Connection has been setting the standard for electrical excellence in St. Louis for over 100 years. You can depend on our highly skilled and trained workforce, your #1 source for quality electrical and communication contractors, electricalconnection.org.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I
There's really only one place where the carpets are always red and the stars are everywhere you look. There's no place like Hollywood. Hollywood Casino St. Louis.
Spring is coming. Enjoy the season with a great deal on a new Toyota. Like low APR financing on the technology-loaded Corolla, the adventurous RAV4, the rugged Tundra, and more.
I'm rebuilding the deck?
Yep.
Okay.
Lease a new 2018 RAV4 for $229 per month with $1,000 lease bonus cash. Or get 0% APR financing plus $500 bonus cash.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Well, the final whistle has been blown, so make sure you head over to twitter.com/St Louis FC to vote for your Pleats man of the match. And it may well be Kyle Gregg, who had the only goal of this game. And that was a long time ago, back in the 5th minute. But St. Louis and the St. Louligans have a celebration going on today with the victory, Matt. And we go back early because Kyle Gregg picks up his 2nd goal of the season.
It started off early in the match. Ball played forwards by Lewis Hilton. Gregg chased it down. The goalkeeper came. He wasn't sure. He hesitated. Gregg did not. He chipped the keeper on the bounce. Beautifully done with the right foot. Ball took an age to find the back of the net, but it did. Curved in, bounces in. 1-0, and that was all that was needed for St. Louis FC to win the game. But there was a lot of other things to go on before the final whistle blew, and this was the best chance probably of the match for the visitors. Burt at the back post, forcing the fine save from Fennelson with the right hand over the crossbar.
Fennelson would be tested late in the match as well, but another counterpunch coming here from St. Louis. Dakers with a blast, and Sayus getting rid of it.
It was fine effort from Dakers, just drops the right shoulder, hits it with the right foot. Movement on the ball, forces the awkward save from the goalkeeper, but no mistake in the end. And this was another great moment, the best of the second half. Robinson, the man of the match for the visitors for me. And that was a huge tackle by Reynolds, number 15 in the back line for St. Louis FC. Could have been an argument for a penalty, but for me it was a clean tackle. Comes away with the ball. Well done, Mr. Reynolds.
And here's Wall-Fall laying it off. Hilton's going to get a chance here. This could have wiped this game out and made it 2-0. But instead, Hilton just missing.
Wall-Fall there. Great job to keep the ball alive at the top of the box. Finds his teammate Hilton, who did a great job in the center part of the pitch in the midfield, and just puts the ball just wide. And then Usl, the substitute, comes on and really should have done better with this effort. The goalkeeper Fennelson makes no mistake, but Usl knows he should have put that one in the back of the net.
So it's a clean sheet for Fennelson. We take a look at the stats from the match.
And pretty even all the way through, except for that possession statistic. 58% of the time the St. Louis FC had the ball, and they did a fine job with that. And a lot of that possession was in the middle area of the pitch and their opponent's defensive half, which is what you want to see as a coach. You don't want to see that possession in your own half because you're not doing anything with the ball. And why not celebrate with the fans? First win of the season, first home win of the season. Everybody's happy, everybody's bouncing. Great to see, and the players have got huge smiles on their faces.
Well, will that be the scene a week from now? That's a very good Fresno team coming to St. Louis, coming to Toyota Stadium. April 7th, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. We will find out in a week. Meantime, this is a win, the first one of the season for St. Louis, and it was done just this way with a perfect touch by Kyle Gregg for his 2nd goal of the year and the only goal of the match. There were other chances, Hertzog here, but St. Louis did what they did, got their business done early, and comes up with a couple of big saves here. For Matt Stubbington and our entire crew, I'm Dave Lamont. We thank you for watching the USL. St. Louis with a winner tonight.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.